Now, you'll remember in June last year that the then President, Joe Biden, was pretending he could run again for a second term. I'd been saying for 3 years that he'd never do that. And George Clooney and the Hollywood crowd actually held a fundraiser for Biden, and he looked so lost that Barack Obama had to lead him off the stage. We showed you that here at the time. It wasn't long after that, after a disastrous debate performance, that Clooney was one of those calling for Biden to stand aside, writing in the New York Times that he loved Joe, but that he had to go. Now, why do I mention this now? Well, because Joe Biden's problematic son, Hunter, has given a rare interview, and a bizarre one, and he's unloaded on Clooney.
Him, and everybody around him. I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. You. What do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you?
Let's go to Kristin Tate, our US analyst. Now, Kristin, who the hell let Hunter Biden out?
That is a great question, Chris. Oh my gosh, he is such a loser. It's so cringeworthy watching this, knowing that Hunter Biden has been described as Joe Biden's chief of staff during the last year he was in office. And he's sitting there trying to chalk up Democrat losses in 2024 to disloyalty to his father by people like George Clooney and others. This is laughable. Democrats were extremely loyal to Joe Biden for years, as it was clear to anyone with a functioning brain that Biden was, in steep mental decline and not up for the job. We watched him fall upstairs. We watched him be guided off stage by Obama, constantly slurring his speech. But we were told he had never been sharper. And if you have any questions, you're a conspiracy theorist. It was only when he was on that debate stage, he completely froze, and the whole thing was exposed. The entirety of his mental decline was exposed, that the Democrats turned on him. So if anything, they lost in 2024 because the Democrats were too loyal to him for too long. By the time they did turn on him, it was too late.
You are spot on. We talked for more than 3 years about how there's no way Joe Biden was capable of running again, but they stuck by him to the very last when it couldn't be avoided. Let's have a look at some of that crucial debate.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
It was an absolute train crash, but have a look at what Hunter Biden says about that now.
I know exactly what happened in that debate. He flew around the world, basically, in the mileage that he could have flown around the world 3 times.
Yeah.
He's 81 years old. He's tired as shit. Give him Ambien to be able to sleep. He gets up on the stage, and he looks like he's a deer in the headlights.
Kristin, blaming it on the sleeping pills. This is absolute arrant nonsense. Biden had been back in the country for about 6 days. He'd been resting at Delaware and at Camp David. He had plenty of preparation. He just stuffed up because he was not up to it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even if you take what Hunter just said there at face value, Joe Biden still shouldn't have been president. You're telling me the president of the United States was so tired he couldn't handle his normal duties and he had to be taking sleeping pills all the time? I mean, he was an elderly man in steep mental decline. This happens to everyone at different paces. He had been way too far gone to be the leader of the free world. And during that debate, it was just too much for the elites to try to hide it up anymore. If they had, somehow orchestrated a graceful exit from the campaign, even just several months earlier, things could have gone very differently for the Democrats in 2024. We really could have had President Kamala Harris, but they just waited too long until everyone in the media and the Democrat elites, they all had egg on their faces when we saw that debate performance.
Thank God for small mercies. Imagine President Kamala Harris. Now, dementia would not have been an excuse available to her. Meanwhile, of course, President Donald Trump has marked 6 months in office, 6 months in his second term, of course, his second stint. Here's a big poster he's put out, the Herogram. And have a look at this little video the White House has put together.
This movement that President Trump has started is only getting bigger. It has more energy, more enthusiasm.
What he's going to do is show up and work hard and deliver every day for the American people.
You're watching history, so buckle up, because the next 3.5 years will probably be just as busy.
Kristin, there's a lot to talk about in 6 months. I remember back in January when I was with you in Washington and we were seeing him sign off all those executive orders within minutes of being inaugurated. But we've seen a lot of success on the border. I would argue a lot of success in international affairs, getting NATO to stump up more money for their own defence, supporting Israel strongly, taking out those nuclear facilities in Iran. But the big question is in the US with all these tariffs. The tariffs are causing mayhem around the world, hurting countries like Australia. So I'm very antagonistic about his tariff policies. But how are they playing out in the US? Are voters supporting them, or are they worried about the increased prices they're starting to pay?
Voters right now are cautiously optimistic. Many people understand Trump's play here. There might be some short-term pain for long-term gain. I will say just being here in the city of Boston and when I've traveled, you can really feel a new sense of enthusiasm in the air here in the United States. People are generally more optimistic about the direction of the economy than they were under Biden. Food prices have started to go down. Inflation's going down a little bit. Obviously, illegal immigration has come to a near halt at the southern border. So things are going well in America right now. I will say the one thing as a Trump supporter myself that I can find to complain about is we have not gotten those mass deportations we were promised. Right now, the administration is deporting about 14,000 people a month. Some 10 million plus illegal immigrants came in under Biden. It would take over 600 months at the current deportation rates to actually deport all the illegals that came in under Biden. So there's definitely room for improvement, but overall, there's a lot to celebrate for the Trump administration right now.
Yeah, a bit more work to do there. Also government spending, I suppose, but his agenda is growth to dwarf that, I suppose. Great to catch up with you again, Kristin. We'll see how he's going in 6 months' time from now.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris.